It's a Friday night in Marlins Park. And guess who's on the hill? You got it. National League Rookie of the Month for August, Jose Fernandez. You don't want to miss a pitch as the kid looks to improve his home record to a perfect 8-0 in what could be his second to last start of the season. Now watch as your Marlins take on Bryce Harper and the Nationals. Sit back, enjoy, right here on Fox Sports Florida.
It's a beautiful night outside. It's even prettier inside because tonight as the Nationals take on the Marlins, we got the kid, Jose Fernandez, makes what could be maybe one more start after this one tonight as he goes after a perfect 8-0 pitching here at Marlins Park. Hi, everybody. I'm Tommy Hutton. This is Preston Wilson. We're happy to have you with us. We hope you enjoy the game tonight. Now, we got a matchup, Preston, of a team, the Nationals. They're playing pretty good ball lately. They got a lot of guys hot, and they're still in the hunt.
Well, they're in a very fortunate situation right now because they're hot at the right time. They're 7 games back in the wild card, trailing St. Louis, Cincinnati, Arizona, but they're playing their best baseball of the year. Their batting average, on-pace percentage, all their major offensive categories have gone up in average since August 9th.
All right, let's talk about the 21-year-old right-hander who once again was National League Rookie of the Month. He was Rookie of the Month in July and also in the month of August. Jose Fernandez tonight.
This guy is an electrifying force on this team. It's not very often that you see a 20-year-old kid energize a ball club and they get behind him like they do with this guy. Last 30 games, he's been 5-1 with a 1.50 ERA, 70 strikeouts to 13 walks. And to top it off, he's hitting 286 over his last games, his last 4 games. So he's doing it all for the Marlins right now.
And how about the fact he's 7-0 with a 129 ERA pitching at Marlins Park? Our Coventry Healthcare pitching matchup goes the other way. A veteran pitcher, 32-year-old Dan Haren.
Darren Haren is a consummate professional on the mound. He will allow you to get yourself out. He knows how to use all of his pitches. He even does the thing where he uses the illusion of a strike to get inexperienced hitters to chase. So it's going to be a tough matchup for the Marlins tonight.
Well, we have the veteran against the rookie, but before we get to all that, the guys out in center field will tell you a little bit about Christian Yelich and on the roll that he's been on.
We're not too far away from the Marlins and the Nationals, but before we do that, let's go out to the guys in center field. Craig and Niner.
All right, T. Hunt, thank you very much. Good evening again, everybody. Wasn't a great road trip for the Marlins. Finished well. They got off to a shaky start, 0-5, won 3 in a row. The elusive can't get that 4th straight win. 7th time they won 3 straight. But what did stand out, the offense picked it up, led by the Marlins youngster in the outfield.
Yeah, Christian Yelich had a phenomenal road trip after a not very good homestand. Before they were on the road, hits .438 on the road. But what you've seen from this kid so far, I like a lot, is he's using all fields. You see a lot of great pitches on the outside corner, just like that one right there. He takes him to left. The ball's inside. He takes him to right, up the middle. He uses it all, and very good balance. I like his balance and the way he approaches each and every at-bat.
Line drive, hard hit. His home run got out in a hurry. He had 2 homers on the road trip, 14 for 32. A .438 clip that has him up to .288. And tonight he moves over to center field. You worked a lot with him in spring training. He'd been playing left pretty much. Tonight they're going to get Coghlan to start in left. How about him in center field?
I like him in center. You know, he played there in the minor leagues, and although he doesn't have tremendous flat-out speed that you'd see maybe a Marisniks or somebody like that have, he gets great jumps and great reads, and the ball takes great routes, so he gets a lot of balls that some guys wouldn't.
Has an amazing composure too for a young guy. He looks
very
like
composed.
He looks like he belongs till you look at him and say, "Boy, he looks young."
Unflappable.
But he does a great job. All right, how about Jose Fernandez? Talk about looking like you're belonging, huh? Start number 27 for the guy they call Hosey. And they'll go after his 11th win. Glenn Gafter calls him Kid K. I like that nickname. We'll see if Kid K can go after him, get that 11th win. All is coming up next.
Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. By AT&T Uverse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. By Just for Men Mustache and Beard. And by Checkers. Feast on. How gorgeous is that, and how nice is this? Inside, it's nice and comfortable. Jose Fernandez, the Marlins take the field. And while they do that, while Jose gets his warm-up tosses in hand, we'll take a look at the Nationals offensively. A late scratch was Denard Span, so Corey Brown out of Oklahoma State gets the start. Ryan Zimmerman, who's settled into that number 2 spot. Bryce Harper, 3 for his last 18, but he's hit the Marlins well. Jason Worth hitting in the cleanup spot. Ian Desmond had an incredible series in D.C. Adam LaRoche Wilson Ramos has swung the bat well. Steve Lombardozzi, versatile second baseman, middle infielder, and on the mound, the veteran right-hander Dan Herron.
Well, now you get a look at the guy who the Nationals will be facing tonight. That's Jose Fernandez. Kid has tremendous electric stuff. You can't put enough superlatives when you're talking about him. The poise that he displays, great fastball. He's learned to even sink it a little bit. He's expanded his repertoire by altering the speeds on his breaking ball. He has a little bit bigger slider. Now he has a smaller slider, big curveball, and he'll shorten it up at times. Developing a changeup, which is probably his least effective pitch so far, but he hasn't had to go to it as much since his changeup, his breaking ball has been so good lately.
He's faced the Nationals one other time back on July 13th. He had a no decision in that game, but pitched well. 6 innings, gave up just 4 hits and 1 run. So the hitters have seen him, but only the one game. So Jose, who's had just a tremendous record at home, tries to go to 8-0 here at Marlins Park. Don't know if it's good news or bad news with Corey Brown stepping in. Denard Span had a 17-game hitting streak. We haven't really heard anything from downstairs as to why he's not starting. Good start, good fastball, strike 1.
95 right out the gate. Welcome, Corey Brown.
Shallow center field. A lot of time for the center fielder. How about that? Christian Yelich.
I like him in center.
Let's take a look at the Marlins defense. And as always, the defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic.
Well, we're going to move around from left to right. Coughlin is in left field. Going to be getting a break from the infield today. Yelich playing center field. Good-looking young player. Giancarlo Stanton is out there in right field. The big man's holding down the corner. Polanco's at third. Echeverria, the exciting young shortstop, is there playing the 6 hole. Donovan Solano. Logan Morrison playing first base, and the battery today is Jeff Mathis and Jose Fernandez.
Ryan Zimmerman goes after that 98-mile-an-hour heater and doesn't get it. Last 19 games for Zimmerman, he's hit over 320. And there was a time where Davey Johnson got him into that number 2 spot, and things have worked out pretty well. Not only for Zimmerman, but for the Nationals.
Well, Dave's a really smart manager, and he understands that sometimes you got a guy who can benefit from a change in the lineup depending on what they're doing at the time. And if you got a base runner that's running well in front of him, like when Denard Span got hot, it's going to buy Zimmerman a few more fastballs. That's going to get him going even more.
First inning is always interesting to watch Jose work, to see what he has, what he's trying to establish.
I've been impressed at his ability to recover so quickly if he gets into a game and he doesn't have his breaking ball control or his fastball control. He can recover from that.
Boy, this one popped high in the air. Let Echeverria take it. He does. 2 down.
You notice how the pitcher's nowhere in the picture on that. He wants no part of that ball. If he's got to leave the dirt, it's somebody else's ball.
All right, Jose looks up, goes, okay, I'm getting out of here.
I'm done.
Let the sure hands take it. And Etch has the sure hands. It's a good point, Preston, you made about the adjustments for Jose early in the game. His last time out against Atlanta, he gave up that first inning home run to Freddie Freeman. And it was a 2-run shot. And that was all the Braves got off of.
Well, he shows a unique ability that he does things that are not easy to do, and he makes them look easy. Like the ability to come into a game and realize you don't have something, and then to change it that next trip out of the dugout and go back and execute. That's not a simple thing to do, but he makes it look very easy.
Oh, good gas by Bryce Harper, 99 miles an hour.
You think he's sensing this maybe his last start at home for the season?
Yeah, well, I think he might have one more. And listening to Mike Redmond before the game and Chuck Hernandez, they want to see how this game goes, but there's a good chance we could see Jose Wednesday night against the Braves.
Yeah, but you and I both know this kid. And just in case that next start doesn't happen, he's not going to leave anything to chance tonight. He's letting it fly.
And unfortunately, Preston, he might not have enough starts to win Player of the Month for September amongst rookies.
I mean, he did it in July, did it in August. I mean, I think we really kind of lose sight of how talented he is. Maybe the Marlins record maybe kind of glosses over it some of the time, but he's very impressive, and everybody else in the league is taking notice.
Oh, nice breaking ball. Harper is gone. The Nationals are gone. 1-2-3. Nice inning. Nice start for Jose Fernandez. 3 up, 3 down. We'll be right back. To everyone quite yet on the bench, but he'll usually touch base with just about everybody. Here we go to the Marlins half of the first inning. Here's what Mike Redmond has for you. Chris Coghlan leads off, and Cogs is in left field in this one tonight. Donovan Solano, he has swung a tremendous bat. Christian Yelich on a 6-game hitting streak. Stanton, Morrison, and Placido Polanco, middle of that lineup. Adeiny Hechavarria coming off that grand slam in Chicago. Jeff Mathis handles Jose Fernandez, and there's Jose, who you mentioned is swinging the bat better, too.
I mean, he's doing everything right now. With his last 4 starts, hitting .286, just doing everything. Dan Haren is a guy that the Marlins are really going to have to focus on because he has a lot of pitches and he knows how to work young hitters. Starts off 88 miles an hour fastball right, and that's him. He'll stay on the edges. He doesn't use that middle of the plate much.
And there were a couple of reasons I think Mike Redmond got Chris Coghlan and Yelich in the lineup, with Coghlan playing left, Yelich playing center. Polanco helps the infield defense at third base.
So Polanco doesn't miss anything. When he's over there, he's a vacuum. One of the highest fielder percentage for a third baseman in the last few years in the major leagues. He ties that infield together.
0-2 just misses there. There was a time when Haren's splitter was upper 80s. Now it's lower 80s, more of a fork ball. Down that left field line, slicing away from Bryce Harper. He's not going to get it. Chris Coghlan waltzes into second base with a leadoff double. Cogs hit the ball well in Chicago, but he was 1 for 10. He didn't have much to show for it, but he was on a lot of pitches. So good to see him slice that ball out of the reach of Harper.
Well, I think he has the right approach because he knows that Haren is going to try to use your aggressiveness as a young hitter against you. He has him behind in the count, and Haren tries to go away, takes a little bit off of a fastball right there, kind of 2 seams it away, and Coghlan stayed on it and drove it down in that left field corner.
So a good start for the Marlins left fielder, and Donovan Solano steps in, who's done a great job in moving runners all year.
Well, this is his game. This is where you have Donovan Solano hitting in that 2-hole because he's great at hitting behind the runner.
Trying to go that way and misses on that first pitch. Solano with a nice run in Chicago, and we've talked about all year how he just continues to hit with runners in scoring position. 375.
And I think part of that is because he stays inside the ball so well and he allows the ball to travel. Most pitchers, when they get guys in scoring position, they're going to go to those secondary pitches. You're not going to get a 2-0 fastball, a 2-1 fastball, even if you're ahead in the count. So he has the ability to let the ball travel.
That fastball travels high, and it's 2-1. Did he check it? Yes, he did, says first base umpire Lance Barksdale. Kerwin Danley's behind the plate. Lance Barksdale's at first. Gary Cedarstrom's the umpire at second, and Angel Hernandez over at third.
Herrin is one of those guys that has learned that when he's lost a little velocity, he's actually learned how to pitch. He adds and subtracts and uses the whole zone now.
And he loses Donovan Solano, who was up there trying to move Chris Coghlan over to third. Got a second. Let's check in on the Nationals defense. Again, brought to you by Cleveland Clinic.
Across the last year's Rookie of the Year, Bryce Harper playing left field. Late replacement, Corey Brown playing center field. Jason Worth, who's been red hot, just getting enough bats to enter that National League batting title race. Zimmerman at third. Ian Desmond, a great young shortstop there at short. Lombardozzi at second. LaRoche, and the battery is Dan Herrin and Wilson Ramos.
First pitch banged into center field by Christian Yelich. He hit it so hard, and it was a good charge by the center fielder Brown, that Coghlan was held at third by Joe Espada. But just another solid swing. 7-game hitting streak now for Yelich.
And I like that about him, that he's always ready to hit. And that's something that we talked about it earlier. Herrin doesn't stay in the middle of the plate that much. And this ball is center cut, and he's ready to hit it and gets the job done.
The Marlins, Preston, trying to do something they haven't done a lot of for Jose Fernandez, and that's give him an early lead. Put some runs up on the board, give him something to work with. He hasn't been able to do that very much this year.
Well, I mean, it's going to make him even better when he's able to pitch with those leads, because he's the type of pitcher that you don't feel like if you give him a lead, he's going to be lax and give it away. There are some pitchers who have great stuff that if they get a lead, they don't pitch the same. They pitch better when the game is tight or they're behind.
Aggressive hitting tonight by the Fish. Stanton with the base hit. 2 runs come in to score. Yelich goes to third. 2-0 Marlins.
I like what I'm seeing out of the offense tonight. Sometimes you see Giancarlo going up there and he's kind of waiting to try to figure out if they're going to pitch to me, or they're not going to pitch to me, or they're going to try to, get to the guy behind me. Today he's up there ready to swing the bat, get something out over the plate. Gets good extension, breaks his bat there, hits it off the end, but he covers that pitch. That means he's not pulling off, trying to reach that left field gate over there. Stays up the middle, drives in a couple big runs.
And on that base hit, Yelich with good base running, which we've seen one of the other aspects of his game that he does so well. He went first to third. Steve McCaddy, the pitching coach, out to chat with Herrin, who did not have a good start his last time out. His last time out was an 11-3 loss to the Mets. Herrin lasted just 2 2/3 innings and gave up 9 hits and 7 runs.
I mean, you're seeing him starting to get the ball over the plate a little bit. That last pitch actually wasn't in the middle. Giancarlo Stanton just did a great job of covering that pitch. The pitch to Yelich was right down the middle. And when you don't have the velocity, or when you've lost velocity like Herrin has over his career, you do have to stay more on the fringes.
Herrin misses with that first pitch to Logan Morrison. Lomo had 3 hits on the road trip, but one that booming home run at Wrigley Field over the right field bleachers.
Well, he's got great power, and when he's looking in, he can definitely. Oh, man down. Oh, she took quite a tumble over there.
Wow, let's hope all is well.
Well, he can definitely drive the ball when he's looking in. He can get the inside fastball, but right now his main power is when the ball is out over the plate. He drives that ball very well, so I'd like to see him look for something middle away and generate something here.
1-1 now to Logan Morrison. 2-1. I like the game plan, though. It looks like the Marlins have had a game plan tonight against Herrin to be aggressive early.
Well, I think you have to, because he has that splitter and a good breaking ball. You don't want those guys to get to that put-away pitch. That's the pitch you want to hit in that situation. That's a good approach. The fastball away is the easiest pitch to hit in the air. That's a good sac fly pitch right there. Unfortunately, he just missed it.
Well, it's a good opportunity for the Marlins to pick up a third run with Yelich at third, Stanton at first. Tried to come inside with the fastball. Grandi Foxtrax has a lot of pitches everywhere. Got him with the breaking ball.
That's a good pitch right there. That ball's bearing in on him. It's too close to take. And even if you do swing at it, you might even hit into a ground ball double play on that pitch. See, that ball's just biting in. That's just a good pitch from a pitcher right there. Not much you can do about that level.
Initially, it looked like it might be the split, but seeing that replay, it was more of a slider inside.
And that's the difference when you get to the major leagues. When you foul off that pitch, the fastball away that he had to hit in that situation, after that, you're not going to get that meaty pitch anymore. So that's why RB driving in runs is really tough in the major leagues because of that. You usually get maybe one chance in your bat to do it.
Placido Polanco into center field. Yelich will tag. He will score. The Marlins do get that third run on a sacrifice fly from Placido Polanco.
Polanco's been a professional hitter his whole career. Man's handles the bat really well. Stays on a breaking ball. That's a very easy pitch to roll over if you're over aggressive right there. Stays on it, drives it through the middle of the field, gets the sac fly. Yelich does a good job making sure the catch is secured. Gets that third run, which is really big for the Marlins this inning.
You know, Preston, what's been good to see is Donovan Solano kind of take that same approach following Polanco, the veteran.
Well, they have a lot of similarities in their swing. They both let the ball get deep. They like to hit the ball up the middle the other way. And those guys generally do well with men in scoring position because of that.
And I think if you're talking about that same approach, Danny Echeverria would, I think, help his average if he took that same approach all the time.
I think he has to keep that approach. But what he needs to do with that approach is make sure he's getting a pitch to do it with. On the last road trip, I saw him have at bat after at bat where he's trying to force the ball the other way, and the ball is inside off the inside corner. So it's good to have that approach, but you have to have the mentality and the pitch recognition to make sure you're getting a pitch to work that approach with.
Breaking ball misses. Dan Herron, one of those guys over the years, just signed a one-year contract with the Nationals. $13 million for 1 year. But he's been a workhorse wherever he's been. Did he go? Pretty sure he did. That's a strikeout. That's the inning. But the Marlins have a nice first inning. 3 runs on 3 hits, 3-0 Marlins. Free spot to give Jose Fernandez, pitching in front of friends and family. A nice little cushion, but I agree with you, Preston. He pitches the same all the time, whether he has a lead or if it's a close game.
And that's comforting. I mean, we've seen guys in the past who do let up when they get that big lead. Carlos Zambrano was one of them. If you gave him 6 runs in the first, he's going to give up 4. You know, it's just some guys have that ability to stay tough no matter what the situation is. Fernandez is coming after a good first inning, 11 pitches, 9 fastballs. All fastballs in the first inning were 95 or above. 4 were at 99.
Got a tough hitter right now, Jason Worth. Worth finds himself in the top 5 in hitting now with that .320 batting average. He has been one of their hottest hitters over the last couple of months.
Well, Worth is one of those guys who does a good job of staying in the middle of the field. He's a gap-to-gap hitter. He'll pull your breaking ball or change up, but he can take your good fastball and hit it in the left center gap. He doesn't have to pull it to dead left.
It's this ball straight away center, but just a few steps back is Christian Yelich, who did play 25 games or so in center field this year in Jacksonville.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that was an example right there. You saw Jason with that ball was 96, and it was moving in, and he still was able to get his hand through and hit that ball to center field. So he has the confidence that he can do anything to keep the ball fair. See, this ball's running, stays pretty much middle in. Hits that ball to center field. A lot of right-handed hitters are going to pull that ball straight away left. That's what allows him to hit the changeup and the curveball fair, and a lot of times out of the ballpark.
Boy, this guy had some good swings against the Marlins in Washington, D.C. Ian Desmond out of Sarasota. Desmond was 8 for 12 with a home run in that series in Washington. Notice how the first breaking ball had the plate, the second one a little bit off the plate to get him to chase.
Well, I think he's going to try to tighten him up right here with a little fastball in and then expand his zone again. I mean, that breaking ball right there was just filthy. He could finish him off, but I think he'd try to go hard in and then work him back away. No, it looked like staying away. 99.
How about just 99 down the middle of the plate?
Yeah. But he didn't go in, but he went hard.
Well, we told you 99. At the beginning of this game to settle in.
Man, I got to go get me some popcorn for this show.
Wow. Second strikeout tonight for Jose. He's already hit 98, 99 a couple of times. Adam LaRoche, a veteran left-handed hitter, steps in. That's the thing about Fernandez. Right-handers hitting 180 against him. Lefties hitting 191. So he doesn't show favorites.
Well, I think that is just the evolution of him working on his changeup and also changing his breaking ball. Because when he had just the one breaking ball that was top to bottom, lefties had a much better shot at it. Now that he can run that breaking ball on their back foot, under their hands, they're having a lot tougher time staying on all those pitches.
He throws that really good back foot breaking ball to get a lot of strikeouts against lefties.
Yeah, Randy Johnson did that to me, and my ankle was sprained for 3 weeks.
There's a changeup, by the way, at 89. Yeah, Randy Johnson did it to right-handed hitters. Pulled foul, and the count stays 1-2. I saw Steve Carlton do that a lot to right-handed hitters.
That's not a fun thing.
Breaking ball.
And it just keeps coming, and that's what those lefties are seeing from Hernandez. The ball is coming in. It never stops breaking. It's all the way by their back ankle by the time they get to it.
Well, it's great to have Jeff Mathis back there, who's done a nice job in handling the 21-year-old, which I think has really been important, too, for Jose.
You know, it's great that you mentioned that, because that's something that can go so overlooked when you're talking about a pitching staff and their success, is the comfort level that they have with that catcher, especially throwing those 2-strike breaking balls with men on base. They know he's going to block it.
Came back, got him with the changeup. Second strikeout of the inning. Third strikeout of the game. Marlins with a 3-0 lead.
in the park. Marlins Executive Vice President of Operations and Events, Claude DeLorme, will take us on a tour of the artwork in Marlins Park, and we want you to be featured. Send us your best Marlins-themed photos, drawings, graphic art, or maybe you've got a mini Marlin fan that's a little bit of an artist. Send us your kids' drawings as well, and they could be featured on our art show September 10th.
All right, thank you, Allison. Dan Herron goes to work to Jeff Mathis, who hit a couple of home runs on the road trip, as well as did some nice catching.
You know, Mathis his bat's been light this year. 200 with 5 home runs, 28 RBIs. You see the graphic there. But the thing that he has done is whenever he's hit a home run or driven in a run, they've been big runs. You know, there have been none of those garbage runs where the team is down by 8-0 and he drives in a run. All of his RBIs and home runs have come in big situations.
Well, we've talked about it. He has 40 base hits and 28 RBIs. Talking about Herron, wherever he's been, he's pitched for St. Louis and Oakland and Arizona and the Angels. He's had 8 years of 10 or more wins. He's had 8 years of 30 or more starts. So he's been one of those guys that will win some games. He's been a 15-game winner. He's been a 16-game winner. And the Nationals spent a lot of money on him this year. He probably won't be with Washington next year. But just to give him that veteran in their rotation.
Well, a guy like him, his numbers sometimes don't reflect his value. And what I mean by that is the innings that he gives, the innings that he saves your bullpen, the way that your other pitchers, your younger pitchers learn from him, because he was them. He was that guy that had the electric stuff, the big fastball, the nasty splitter, and he learned how to develop into an all-around pitcher. So his value is much more than just what his numbers are to this ball club.
And he gets Jeff Mathis with his fastball. So one down here in the second. Yeah, the other thing about Herron, it's unusual. That's why it was a little unusual when he walked Donovan Solano. He came into the game with just 24 walks in over 140 innings.
Yeah, that's something he doesn't do, and you know he has such good control, and he's able to pitch right on the fringes of the zone while having that control.
Well, the Nationals pitching staff entered tonight's game issuing the fewest walks in the major league. So overall, they all do a pretty good job in throwing strikes.
Well, I think you realize that some teams they have these codes that they go by. You know, some teams definitely want to get ahead with the first pitch. Some teams don't want to walk anybody.
Now Jose is going to have an infield base hit. You talked about it, Preston. His bat's come around a little bit too. Herron tried to knock that down with his bare hand, deflected it. He'll get a visit from the training staff and his pitching coach.
Yeah, you hate to see that, but it's such an instinctual thing that you want to catch the ball. And even though that ball is not hit very hard, if it hits you awkwardly on your hand or wrist, that could potentially knock you out of the ball game. So that's something you try to tell your pitchers to stay away from, because if it's hit that slowly, one of your middle infielders may get a chance to make that play. Don't risk that.
That was a good reaction play by Ian Desmond, national shortstop, to get over and make it a close play at first base.
You know, you just hope Dan Herron's all right, that nothing happened there, that, you know, he'll be able to keep going. But it's such an instinctual thing to say, the ball's in my area, I'm going to try to stop it.
Yeah, it's easy when you're not down on the field to say, don't go after it, but the instincts take over.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. You see him take a few pitches, and he's throwing fastballs, but in fact, it could affect him more on his splitter or on the breaking ball.
And there's so many little individual working parts in your hand, and there's very little protection. So just throwing a fastball, it may not show up, but the grip on your split, where you got that more tension in between the fingers because the fingers are split there, it may show up there. Even on a breaking ball, where you have a little extra torque in your wrist, it may show up there. So, you know, hopefully he's okay though.
He's working it. He's trying to get the feel back into it. So with one down, Jose Fernandez is at first base, and that'll get us back to the top of the lineup. Chris Coghlan started things in the Marlins half of the first with a leadoff double down the left field line. Again, aggressive swinging. This ball drilled sharply, but Corey Brown makes a nice play moving back on it.
So that's a great first move by the center fielder right there. He got his turn, he got his depth, and that ball was hit on the line, but he made that play look pretty easy.
Explain that, how an outfielder positions himself to get the depth and get the angle.
Well, the one thing you want to do is when you make your turn, you want your step to be straight back. If he turns and goes like towards the Marlins sign there, the ball's going to end up behind him, but he takes his depth straight back towards that 418 sign, and now he has the option to go a little bit left or right, and he gets depth because the ball is always going to be faster than you can run. So when you get depth, you can make your adjustment left or right.
All right, with 2 down, that'll bring up Donovan Solano, who walked and scored on Giancarlo Stanton's base hit. Stanton had a base hit, 2 RBIs in that first inning. Yelich had an RBI single.
So Donovan Solano, when he came back from his rehab stint, you realize that he really wasn't healthy when he was trying to play at the beginning of the season. Defensively, offensively, he's just such a much better player.
He's been better, you're right, all around. Playing second base, he's turned to double plays nicely. He's hit the ball a lot better.
And sometimes as fans or as observers, we don't realize that these guys are hurt sometimes. They may not show it because they don't want to show the other team that they're injured, but they're not always playing 100% out there, and that was definitely the case with him first half of the season.
Ooh. Called third strike on a fastball, so Aaron picks up his 4th strikeout. Marlins still hold on to a 3-0 lead.
Victory of the season. I was talking to the manager of the Washington Nationals, Davey Johnson, before the game. Coach Davey had the Rookie of the Year candidate, and then winner Doc Gooden. He also had him in the minor leagues too for a couple of starts. I believe it was in AAA back in the 1984 season, 83 into 84. Gooden had an amazing year. He was 17-9. He had over 280 strikeouts. And I asked him if he ever saw a better rookie year than that, and he said, no, that's number one. He said, but for me, Jose Fernandez should be a shoo-in for the Rookie of the Year. He said he has got my vote. He likes his command. It reminds him a lot of Dwight Gooden. He's not intimidated. He's got the blazing fastball, the breaking stuff. And he also told me, guys, that he thinks it's an excellent decision for the Marlins to shut him down. And that has nothing to do with the fact that they'll play Washington one more time. He said Gooden had a lot of innings, over 200 innings at Lynchburg back in the day. And Fernandez is building it up, so he likes that move as well. But very impressed. And he wants him to be the Rookie of the Year. It's his vote, guys.
Yeah, we certainly agree to that. So we agree with Davey Johnson. The thing that both of these guys do and did in Gooden's case, they throw with ease. So the AT and TU versus Twitter poll, will Jose Fernandez win National League Rookie of the Year?
A sharp grounder right there to Wilson Ramos. Solano rounds it in very easily. Nice, easy play. Ramos taking his time, look glorified jog down under first base.
So yes, Jose, yes, ROY, or no, Jose, no, ROY. Well, come on.
I say yes.
I say yes, too. And you know what? Most of the things lately that I've been reading are all leaning toward Jose Fernandez and putting him ahead of Yasiel Puig.
Well, I just hope that the voting gets to the point where they vote where it's supposed to be, where you should not take into into account whether the team makes the postseason or not. That's not the spirit in which the award was supposed to be given. It's supposed to be based on season play alone and how that individual player plays. And if they give it to Yasiel Puig, it will simply be because the Dodgers make the playoffs, because his numbers do not stack up against Jose Fernandez's numbers.
There's a nice breaking ball. And Yasiel Puig has a wonderful cast around him. Not to say players aren't wonderful, but all you have to do is look at the Dodgers record and the Marlins record.
Well, and Jose Fernandez has the record that he has and the numbers that he has with an offense that's last in the major leagues in a lot of categories. They have something like 70 fewer hits than the next major league team as far as hits on the season. So he's doing it on a team that doesn't score many runs.
He puts away Lombardozzi with a changeup. So twice tonight he struck out left-handed hitters with the changeup. He got LaRoche last inning. Lombardozzi, the switch hitter there. Strikeout number 4 for Jose.
I tell you, he must really have a feel for it. I'm actually surprised that he broke it out this early. Usually when he's feeling this good, he'll save that changeup for the second time through the lineup.
The interesting thing that is unfolding tonight and watching Jose Fernandez, there are games where early on his fastball is there and maybe the breaking ball isn't. Some games maybe the changeup isn't. Tonight, early on, all 3 are there.
Yeah, all 3 are there, and he has command and control. And when I say command and control is throwing strikes. Command is throwing strikes in the area that you want to throw it.
There's another thing that I like, and he's done this all year. He's ahead of the pitcher 0-2. He's not going to waste any time.
No. He understands that it's about efficiency as far as him getting pitches done, so he's going to try to put him away. He went right after.
Hey, Heron giving him a little battle, fouling off that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Two outs. Marlins have a 3-0 lead.
Wow. He wanted that one. That's a close pitch.
Didn't miss by much. It's just another tremendous quality for a 21-year-old. You don't see him stare down umpires, put him away early, get him out of there. Strikeout number 5 for Jose Fernandez.
I mean, this is just nasty right here. He absolutely tunes him up with this one. Have a seat, Mr. Heron. See you next inning.
por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
The 21-year-old sits and relaxes. He's gone through 3 innings. He has 5 strikeouts. And you see the line of zeros for the Nationals. I had this question, Preston, kind of in the back of my head. The Marlins were able to score 3 quick runs. But when Jose pitches, what pressure does the offense put on themselves to try to get on the scoreboard?
Well, you know, and I think they face that problem when they have Eovaldi on the mound, Turner on the mound, all these good young arms who they know have pitched well all year. I think it becomes a kind of thing where it feeds on itself, where everybody wants to try to do more. And it actually works against the lineup, you know, because when you're hitting, everything is a reaction. So you can't force the action. And when you go up there and you're trying to make something happen, you end up digging a deeper hole for yourself.
We've talked about Jose Fernandez, how he has made adjustments. Christian Yelich has made adjustments. He had gone through a 4 for 34 stretch, and then all of a sudden went on a tear. 7-game hitting streak now, 13 hits, his last 26 ABs.
Well, I think for him, as long as he just keeps the confidence that he can hit and he knows he can hit, he's going to be fine. Sometimes he'll go through stretches where it's almost like he's trying to be a little bit too perfect. You know, trying to get that perfect pitch to hit or trying to make sure he's doing everything right. When you're this naturally gifted, you just get in the box, see the ball, and just make sure you're ready to hit, and everything will take care of itself. Against right-handed pitching this year, 35 for 100. That's a 350 clip. And I think he's going to do even better against lefties because the one thing that he does is he stays back well. And that allows him to hit the ball, that breaking ball that the lefties throw him, and then when they try to tease him in off the plate.
Well, we saw him get 3 hits in Chicago off a tough left-hander, Travis Wood. Lefties were hitting about 180 against Travis Wood.
If you want to compare him and Harper, Yelich has 47 hits. Harper has 45 hits. On base percentage for Yelich, 760.
Ball driven well to left field. Back goes Harper, and on the warning track, Bryce Harper puts it away. But we've seen Yelich hit the ball extremely well to the opposite field. All right, dive in and see your Marlins against the Nationals on Saturday. Spectacular, September 7th at 7:10. Get the all-you-can-eat seats for just $27. After the game, head to the West Plaza to enjoy a live concert with Blaze of Glory. Bon Jovi tribute presented by Majestic Athletic. Go to Marlins.com today. Marlins baseball. Dive in.
Yeah, before that ball was driven in the gap, the point I was making is Yelich and Harper, their numbers are pretty much similar. Yelich has a 760 on base plus slugging. Harper has an 874. You know, and since the All-Star break, their numbers are really similar. So they're getting high output from a kid who just made it to the big leagues.
Saw some aggressive hitting by Giancarlo in the first inning, jumping on a first pitch and sending a single up the middle, driving in 2 runs. So Stanton now with 45 RBIs. And the amazing thing about Stanton is how well he's hit at home this year. Over 300, under 200 on the road.
You know, I can tell you this from experience being a power hitter. Sometimes playing in a bigger ballpark helps you because then you're not worried about the ball leaving the yard. You just want to put a good swing on it. And a lot of time, if you have that big-time power like he has, the ball will leave the ballpark. But when you get in the smaller ballparks, sometimes you start feeling like I don't have to hit it all of it to get it out of the ballpark, and then you start missing because now your standard of what's acceptable is not as good.
Well, 13 of his 18 home runs are here at spacious Marlins Park. He didn't get much to swing at in that at bat. Second walk tonight for Herron. Marlins got their 3 runs on 3 hits in the first inning. Ball hit well by Logan Morrison. I mean well. Second deck for Lomo.
Well, we said it earlier. The ball that he's pulling right now is the ball out over the plate, and he got something he can get extended on, and he put that ball way into the second deck in the gap.
That is the 26th home run that Dan Herron has allowed. We talked about the one Lomo hit in Chicago over the bleachers. This one, middle of the plate, he launches it
I mean, anytime you see the right fielder and the center fielder stop running after 2 steps and just start looking, you know that's some distance happening right there. Good balance, good extension. That's how you get into the second deck.
You don't see many. We haven't seen many in the 2 years here at Marlins Park. That many home runs hit into that level in that area.
Now that's some yardage right there. You've given up a serious home run when you reach the second deck out there.
Good to see Lomo find a little power. 6th home run of the year. I think we had an email or a tweet last Tuesday asking that question. Why hasn't Lomo hit more home runs? Well, he's taken umbrage to that email. He's gone deep a couple of times.
You talking to me?
A little flare by Polanco. It finds right field for a base hit. So good hitting by Polanco tonight. He had a sacrifice fly in that first inning.
You know, and the Marlins are doing what they need to do. They need to cover the ball away today, and that's what they're doing. That pitch was up and kind of got in the middle, but with Polanco's inside-out swing, he was able to serve it in the opposite gap. But you saw Giancarlo Stanton's first at-bat, ball away, got a hit up the middle. Lomo, that at-bat, ball away, hit the ball deep. Coghlan, ball away, hit the ball his first at-bat down the left field line. They're staying on the ball away.
So when you hit one that far, you can go talk to Stanton.
Oh,
right?
yeah. You say, look, I'm in your territory now. You're like, hey, I know how it feels. I know how it feels when you hit one out there. Everybody else ain't in this conversation.
They're still
you know?
pointing to where that is. and then you go, no, Cogs, you can't hit one that far. No, come on. Little roller. Herron will take it himself, and that's the second out of the inning.
You know, Tommy, that's an example of what we talked about earlier, where you're trying to hit the ball the other way, but you have to get the pitch that will allow you to do that. And right there, that ball is a ball running in off the plate on Echeverria, gets in on his hands. I mean, this ball's probably even off the plate. That ball's over the white line on the inside of his batter's box, and he's trying to hit that ball the other way. So you can have the approach to go the other way, but you have to make sure that you're getting something that would allow you to do it.
A little roller sends Polanco to second base. By the way, the home run by Morrison, the first one of his 6 home runs that he's hit at Marlins Park this year.
Well, that could possibly count as 2, or at least 1.5.
Popped out of play, and quickly it's 0-2 to Jeff Mathis. The Marlins with an early lead, a 5-0 lead for Jose Fernandez.
Mathis is in a hole 0-2, hoping for one of those mistakes that he can get to drive in a run right here.
Oh-2 fastball catches Jeff Mathis, and that's all for the Marlins, but not before a big blast by Logan Morrison.
That's
just like that.
Grown man territory out there.
Logan Morrison with a towering drive into the second deck up in the home run porch in right center. A couple of runs for the Marlins in the third inning. 5-0 lead for the Fish. And Jose Fernandez goes back out to start the fourth.
Well, the Nats didn't have much luck with him first time through the order. He threw 38 pitches, 29 of them strikes. He had 8 swings and misses. 5 of the strikeouts all swinging. And there's a whole bunch of zeros on that line.
Back to the top of the order. Corey Brown. Remember, he was a late addition into the lineup. Denard Span was in the original lineup. Denard Span has a 17-game hitting streak going. But Corey Brown was at Syracuse this year. Showed some home run power there. Had 19 home runs.
Well, and I think that's something that the Nationals are looking for. They're looking for somebody who's going to come in and fill in those gaps in their outfield, especially the hole that Mike Morse left in that lineup with his RBIs and home runs. I think they really may have overestimated their ability to compensate for that, and I think they're looking for players now who also can drive in some runs in that outfield.
There's that nasty breaking ball. The out recorded at first base. Strikeout number 6 for Fernandez.
We talked about what Fernandez has done tonight, but this is against a team who's been improving for quite some time as we look at that nasty breaking ball right there. That's the one that he takes a little bit more off and just kills it for that strikeout pitch. Since August 9th, the Nationals average has gone from a team batting average from 240 to 290 after August 9th. Before, the on-base percentage was 299. After that, it was 366. Slugging went from 384 to 440. I mean, almost every category. Runs per game went from 3.7 to 5.2. Hits per game went from 8.0 to 10.4. Walks per game went up from 2.7 to 3.9. So this lineup, everything has been on the incline for them. They're going up. They're right where they want to be.
Well, that's one of the reasons they've won 11 out of 15. Still 7 games behind the Reds in that extra wild card. Fernando Abad gets loose, the left-hander. And one of the reasons is at the plate. Ryan Zimmerman has stepped it up. He's had a solid 2-3 weeks. Just out of play.
I was with the Nationals when Ryan Zimmerman broke into the big leagues. Last September, he had 400. And you just had a feeling that he was just one of those guys that came in and he knew he belonged right away. There was no guessing. He believed in his ability and played a great third base right out of the gate. So I'm glad to see him still doing well, and he really has gotten hot, like you say, these last few weeks.
That's amazing. Hard to believe. Ryan Zimmerman in his 8th year with the Nationals. Certainly been a leader for a good part of that. Leads by example, leads by things he does out on the field.
You know, he's what you call a solid citizen. He's a guy that's in the clubhouse who guys respect. He goes about his business. He works hard. He's always there. He's that guy that Davey Johnson can always rely on.
Well, Jose at 46 pitches. Number 47 is rolled to deep short. Oh, Echeverria with another dazzling play.
You know, I'm glad to see him bounce back. He did have a little defensive slump. And I think maybe getting into that territory, we're playing more games than he's ever played in his career. But this play, he gets to that ball, he gets his plant foot down and throws an absolute BB across the infield. Gets a good, you know, Ryan Zimmerman runs fairly well. Gets him by a good half a step right there.
Well, we've seen him make a lot of those this year, and you're right. He had that little slump in August. I think he made 6 or 7 errors in the month. But back on track. Here's Bryce Harper. Harper's improved from his Rookie of the Year season. Of course, he was 19 as a rookie last year.
You know, I think there was some questioning whether or not he should have made the All-Star game, All-Star team because of his stats, but he made it. One of the youngest rookies to make the All-Star game. Had a great year, Rookie of the Year, and now this year he's come back. Started off a little bit slower, but he picked it up over the last few months. 19 home runs. See the batting average right there around 275, but he's a high energy guy. He's a guy that he's one of those guys that make your team go.
Hard roller to second, gobbled up by Solano. Another 1-2-3 inning. Go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 5-0 Marlins. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. Tommy Hutton along with Preston Wilson as we enter the bottom of the fourth inning. You see the Marlins with a nice 5-0 lead, and you see lots of zeros on the line for the Nationals. And Davey Johnson makes a pitching change. The Dominican left-hander Fernando Abad comes in to work.
You know, speaking of Davey Johnson, I got a chance to go down on the field before the game started in batting practice, and I got to talk to him for a second. And he let me know that I instantly made him feel old because he was my dad's manager back in '86 with the Mets. So he almost ran me off the field. But then, after some good, good-hearted laughter, we talked a little bit. It was nice to talk to him. Really good man. Had a good time talking to him.
Well, we love to see the 6 degrees of Davey Johnson. Your relationship with him. I was able to be a teammate of Davey's in 1977 with Philadelphia.
Didn't he have like 40 home runs as a second baseman or something?
With Atlanta.
Right.
43 home runs. Jose Fernandez with an infield single in the second inning. One thing I think we've all enjoyed about watching Jose, aside from his pitching feats, are his batting feats. The way he approaches. He has aggressive swings, and he's going to be 2 for 2.
He shows you that he's a competitor in everything that he does. Do the Marlins kids show Billy's Bunch, and there was like a game with Skittles against Frankie, and he didn't want to lose that. So he's going to compete no matter what. And he gets a hanging breaking ball right there, and he knows what to do with it. Got on top of it and drives it through the 6-hole.
Well, a 2 for 2 night for Jose. He starts things here in the fourth inning.
You get the feeling like if he was in a foot race, like with his mom or something, like she's not going to win. He might let her come close, but he's going to win. Yeah, I think that's a little jam shot right there. He got on that swing and maybe kind of rattled him a little bit. So I think he's all right, though.
Hard shot by Coghlan off the glove of Lombardozzi. And Chris Coghlan, who's hit the ball hard all 3 times tonight. A line drive double in the first inning. He lined out to deep center in the second and gets a base hit here in the fourth.
Yeah, Lombardozzi makes a business decision right here and just lets that ball go off to the side. There's no need to try to get in front of that. You got a lot of career left, young man.
See, that's what happens when you grow up in baseball. His father in the major leagues for a while, so he's seen that before.
Yeah.
So again, Solano up in the situation, couple of men on base.
Hey, what? A-Bat slowed up a lot on that pitch right there. So if the Marlins hitters are paying attention, he slowed up a lot on that changeup. So when they see that motion, they're going to be able to pick that up early if he keeps doing that.
And also, if he keeps getting pitches up in the zone, the pitch to Coghlan, the pitch to Fernandez, both pitches up. Well, it's one of the things the Marlins have done. If you go back just their last 4 games, they've averaged 6 runs a game. And certainly we couldn't say that the prior 3 or 4 months. The Marlins really had trouble scoring. But over the last 4 games, and these numbers are going to go up, and their batting average has been .306. They've hit over .280 with runners in scoring position. So Mike Redmond has seen some nice improvement.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is they've been able to string hits together in innings. They were getting some games where they had some high hit totals, but recently they've been able to get that 3 or 4 hits in an inning. And that's been the difference as far as pushing runs across the plate and not just getting hits.
1-2 now to Solano. Donovan walked and scored a run in the first inning. Struck out looking in the second. Tommy Hutton along with Preston Wilson. As always, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Rich Waltz is on assignment as a Big Fox game, I believe, in Cincinnati. Good game, Dodgers and Reds. So we're just trying to hold the fort down, Preston.
I mean, nobody can replace Rich Waltz. We're just trying to keep it in place and try not to mess it up until he gets back.
That's right. We should make a reminder. We're talking about the game tomorrow. Marlins and Nationals, middle game of the 3-game series. Nathan Eovaldi against Tanner Roark. It is not on television tomorrow. Our next telecast will be Sunday. And Jacob Turner goes up against Steven Strasburg on Sunday.
Another good matchup of young pitchers going head-to-head. Strasburg has got tremendous stuff, and Jacob Turner, as we've seen this year, when he's on, he can dominate any lineup.
Marlins live at 12:30. Solano giving about a good battle.
Yeah, Solano can just wear you out because he'll foul off pitch after pitch. You know, you'll throw that nasty pitch and he'll take it if it's not close enough. He just really works the pitcher.
There it is again. Runners at first and second. Jose Fernandez led things off with his second hit of the game. Chris Coghlan followed with his second hit of the game. And you see the assortment of pitches.
Tell you what, that's a lot of pitches in the middle of the strike zone right there. That's one of those where if Solano gets maybe one more to handle that gets a little bit of the middle, he will do something good with it. And next pitch will be pitch number 10. Already a 9-pitch at bat for Solano here.
This one lifted into right field. It should be deep enough. Both runners tagging. So a good job by Chris Coghlan to also tag and go first to second. Fernandez was able to tag up as well.
That's an outfielder understanding what happens to outfielders when they feel a ball going back on their heels. Coghlan recognized Worth wasn't going to be able to catch that ball to get behind it, tagged up and was able to go from first to second on a fly ball to right field, which if you're not paying attention, you don't make that happen. You see Fernandez going right there, but you see Worth on his heels when he throws that ball. He's not able to get behind the throw. Coghlan reads it well, gets into second base. And that's a very good productive out when you got men on first and second, nobody out. You got both runners now in scoring position. That's a very good productive out for Donovan Solano.
And it sets it up for Christian Yelich, who's 1 for 2 tonight. Yelich had a base hit and scored a run in the first inning. Flied out to left, but flied out to deep left. His second time up. Sent Bryce Harper to the warning track.
And he's great with men in scoring position. 348, 1 home run, 8 RBIs. This at bat, I'm really excited to see because he's against a lefty here. He's against a lefty with men on second and third, and I want to see how he's maturing in these situations. Early in the year, he had a little trouble with lefties in this situation. Right now, I think he's coming along a little bit better. So I think he's going to be a little bit more selective and get something he can handle.
Well, he's always been selective. He was in the minor leagues, and he's gotten himself to a 3-0 count here.
That's a great job. He laid off a couple tough pitches, and even when it was 2-0, and that's a really telling account, especially when you get lefty on lefty, because some lefties don't feel comfortable against that left-handed fastball, and they start to cheat a little bit, so they want to try to get the head out there 2-0, and right there he's kept the same approach and took a good pitch.
I think Wilson Ramos, in his conversation with Fernando Abad, said, "Hey, do you know who's on deck?" Giancarlo Stanton's on deck. There's a 3-0, and he will face Stanton with the bases loaded.
Ladies and gentlemen, this could get loud. First time up, Stanton had the bases loaded. He delivered with a first pitch base hit up the middle on a ball away. Now he's facing a lefty, or may get to face a lefty. We get a trip from the dugout here.
Well, there's been nobody warming up the bullpen. There's a little activity right now. Giancarlo with 5 of his 18 home runs off left-handers. So it's a slow walk by Steve McCann. While this conversation goes on, we'll let you know September 24th is Retro Jersey Auction Night. You can log on to Marlins.com/auction to bid on a Jose Fernandez and a Giancarlo original Miami Marlins retro jersey. Those are worn in that game in Milwaukee. You'll also receive tickets to the September 24th game against the Phillies and meet and greet with Fernandez or Stanton. So go to Marlins.com/auction to bid now through September 15th. And that's a one-of-a-kind thing, those 2 jerseys. And you can bid on that and get the meet and greet. And here's Stanton.
Now I want to see Stanton still ready to hit right here. I know Abad has had a little bit of control problems the last batter or 2, but he cannot afford to just take a fastball strike here on a chance to drive in runs. That's a good take right there. That's a good pitch. That's a pitcher's pitch. Something that the Marlins did early in the year when they weren't doing well with men in scoring position. They were too often chased the pitch that the pitcher wanted them to swing at.
Key here with bases loaded, where you want to try to get yourself in that nice hitter's count.
Get in the hitter's count and find something away that you can drive, because that's the easiest pitch to hit in the air and get your job done.
So Abad has come at Stanton with some fastballs, and it's 2-2. He's really struggled throwing the breaking ball for strikes. He did to Yelich. He couldn't throw it for a strike. So far, the only pitch he's had command of has been his fastball. Does that get you thinking fastball here?
Yeah, you have to look fastball. You don't get over anxious and get out there, but you're ready to hit the fastball. And if it's a breaking ball, you're pretty much in a take mode.
He was ready for it. Broke his bat, and the count stays 3-2.
And I'm okay with that. That pitch may have even been a hair off the plate, but I'm okay with that because you have to be in attack mode there. You see a fastball and it's close. You don't want to leave it up to the umpire. I mean, this ball is bearing in. Yeah, it's in off the plate.
Had a little cut to it, though.
Yep, they had a little cut running in off the plate, but he got enough of it to buy himself another pitch. You know, and right here, your mentality as an RBI guy, middle line, you want to get one. You want to find a way to drive in 1 run right here.
He goes upstairs and gets him with another fastball. So a big out for the Nationals. Second out of the inning.
This may have been his best fastball velocity. This one's 95. The other ones were 93, 94. That ball is moving in and just starts to rise and moving in, and Stanton can't catch up to it.
Keep in mind, too, it's been a long time out there on the base paths for Jose Fernandez. He started the inning with a single. Went to second on Chris Coughlin's base hit. Tagged up, went over to third on the fly ball off the bat of Solano. So he's had a lot of conversation with Joe Espada over there at third base. And quickly, Abad gets ahead 0-2 to Logan Morrison. Lomo hit one into the second deck of the home run porch in right center, his 6th home run of the year. A 2-run shot back in the 3rd inning. Marlins got 3 in the 1st, 2 in the 3rd. So far, still having trouble getting the breaking ball over.
Yeah, and I really haven't seen him throw a strike on that third base side of home plate. So that's something as a hitter, as a lineup, you look at and go, you know, just keep your focus on that other side of the plate because that's where the strikes are. And he falls off so hard to that third base side, he tends to yank the ball when he throws the ball to the third base side.
Abad has spent some time in the big leagues with Houston, a little bit in 2010, a little bit more in 2011, and a little more last year, all with Houston. And he gets Logan Morrison to chase that breaking ball, and he gets out of the inning, threw a lot of pitches. And the Marlins do not score. We'll be back with more Marlins baseball with the Marlins ahead 5-0. More Marlins baseball from Cleveland Clinic. Just for Men, mustache and beard, play like a champ profile. Jose Fernandez, August National League Rookie of the Month. You see the numbers. He was also the July National League Rookie of the Month and the first back-to-back national winner of that award since Josh Johnson back in May and June of 2006.
Yeah, the Marlins got some teams coming down the stretch. They're calling in when they're going to shut Jose Fernandez down. They're trying to get a head start on it.
Preston, let's check in with Craig Minervini, see what he has on Jose.
All right, Tommy, thank you very much. The Marlins announced at the beginning of the year that Jose would be on an innings limit in the neighborhood of 150 to 170. They locked in on the 170, and pretty much since the All-Star break, it's always been a running joke with Mike Redmond how he's going to divvy up these innings. Last week, Mike said it looks like 170 is a hard number. Today, though, he indicated there's some wiggle room, and why is that important is, well, he came in with 158 and 2/3. He gets a pop-up here to right field. Well, now he's into the 5th inning, the 163-ish. And what he told him is don't worry about the innings. He told Jose today, just worry about winning this game, whether you give us 6, 7, 8 innings. Don't worry about it. Then we'll look at it and see if there's another start in there, which would be next Wednesday, September 11th against Atlanta. because the Marlins now are indicating today, for the first time we've heard there's some wiggle room on the 170. Well, he could go 6 or 7 here and still come back with him one more start. We'll see how he plays it, especially if he gets a big lead. But no doubt, guys, that if he gets a win here today, should this continue, and gets another crack at a win, that will only help his case for Rookie of the Year, and the Marlins know all about that. So we'll see how they play it.
All right, Craig, thanks. Jose working here in the 5th inning, has 5 strikeouts, has painted with fastballs, has used his different breaking pitches, Ian Desmond the hitter, and has gotten some strikeouts with the changeup as well. Seventh strikeout for Jose Fernandez. Pure gas.
The kid has it going tonight, and he's making some pretty good hitters have some pretty feeble at bats right now. I mean, they're not making contact, and when they do, they're missing the barrel by a lot. And he's just really exploiting every weakness he sees up there. The guys that are having trouble catching up to the fastball, he's blowing it by them. The guys that can't pick up his breaking ball, he's burying it in the dirt. He's attack, attack, attack all night.
Well, we have our own Twitter poll going tonight, so you certainly hope that the national voters for Rookie of the Year are attuned to this one, because Jose Fernandez is locked in this evening. Changeup. Got LaRoche on the changeup back in the 2nd inning.
And that pitch for him against left-handed batters is going to make all the difference in the world, because now they have something that's going away from them. That changeup has a little bit of tail. Something soft that's going away from that left-handed batter is going to really help him.
Boy, lights it up again at 98. Yeah, he has a changeup that goes away, and then he has that back foot hard breaking ball that goes into left. Like that.
And anytime as a hitter you have something soft that comes to you and goes away, it makes it tough, because usually a guy has something, only the hard stuff is away, the soft stuff's away, but then you don't have anything soft that comes into you. So now he's got that where he has something soft that goes away and in. Now that creates you in that rocking chair scenario where you can't just locate on that fastball away and adjust. Now you have to kind of pick a side of the plate to hit on.
The changeup at 90. Somehow LaRoche stayed away from it, didn't chase.
Yeah, you know, let's just put a point on that. We're calling a changeup 90. Like, are we really there?
Well, veteran left-handed hitter's been pretty patient on those last couple of changeups, and the count's 3-2 now. Hasn't had many 3-2 counts.
First pitch, Rose had a good at bat right there, lays off some tough pitches.
He hasn't had many situations tonight where he's had to pitch from behind. He tries to come in through the back door with that breaking ball, and he misses.
Well, you can see right there he got a little bit out ahead of himself. His arm was kind of dragging behind. He didn't get out in front with it. That's why the breaking ball kind of spun on the side. He was in a little bit of a hurry, and that can happen sometimes when you have such great stuff. You don't stay behind your pitches, and that's what happened there. That's why that breaking ball wasn't able to get to the zone.
So for the first time tonight, Jose works out of the stretch. That was the first base runner for the Nationals. And quickly on one pitch, he gets Wilson Ramos. Well, that's all for the Nationals in the 5th inning. Look at the line score. It's 5-0 Fish. He's gone through 5 innings. I'm Tommy Hutton, along with Preston Wilson. Good to have you along. We're having some fun tonight, aren't we?
Man, this is a blast. You see the young kid out there just absolutely mowing down batter after batter, making very few mistakes. Electric fastball, great breaking ball, and even throwing a really good changeup tonight.
Not to mention the fact that he's 2 for 2 at the plate as well.
You know, I try not to be jealous, but I mean, come on. Do you have to have a 99 for a fastball, nasty breaking ball, good changeup, be only 21, 2 Rookie of the Month, consecutive awards. Oh, and by the way, I can swing the bat too.
And be just as wonderful around kids, around fans as we've seen anybody.
And I think that's the part that really makes you excited about what he can do, because he's a guy that you root for because of his personality. He's very affable. He gets along with everyone. Doesn't take things too seriously, but yet he works hard. And he doesn't look for any excuses. If he has a poor outing or makes a poor pitch, that's just what it is. And it doesn't diminish anything that he thinks of himself. He's still very positive and thinks that he's going to go out there and get the job done the next time around.
So the Nationals make another pitching change here in the 5th inning. Right-hander Eric Davis. So they got 3 innings out of Dan Herron. He gave up 6 hits and 5 runs. Fernando Abad worked the 4th inning, gave up a couple of hits, but worked himself out of a jam. And now it's up to Davis. Polanco into right field. Worth with the catch. 1 down.
You know, any other league you play in, that's a base hit. That ball's down the corner. But because there's so much advanced scouting in the major leagues, Jason Worth is playing shifted over towards right field, over towards the right field line, and he's in a little bit. That ball, if another hitter hits that ball and they're not playing, that ball's a double down the line. But because they know where Polanco hits the ball, all this advanced scouting, he's played him very well, and that's an out instead of a double.
Echeverria stands in. Davis was the Nationals closer in AAA at 15 saves. I think because of that, Preston, that's a good point with all the advanced scouting. The ball out short. Desmond makes it look pretty routine. It works both ways, and yes, hitters can look at a lot of video and all that, but with all the advanced scouting and having to face many more pitchers, guys coming out of the bullpen, you're going to play a game and you're going to face 3 pitchers a lot of times. I think that makes it tougher to hit nowadays.
Well, I mean, we've seen over the years in the history of baseball how the averages are going down, and that's because of you're facing more pitchers. If the starter, 50 years ago, if their starter was out there and he'd given up 6 runs, he's still going to be out there in the 7th inning. That's not the case today. They're going to take him out, and they're bringing in right-handed guys, left-handed specialists. So the averages are going to go down because you're not seeing that same thing over and over again, and everybody that you face is pretty much fresh.
For Jeff Mathis, I think I remember reading a note on that topic last year with Miguel Cabrera winning the Triple Crown. And the last Triple Crown winner was Carl Yastrzemski. And I believe Cabrera faced, I want to say it was like 180 more pitchers than Yastrzemski faced when he won the Triple Crown. Well, an easy inning for Eric Davis. Oh. No, it's not. Excuse me. That's the problem Ryan Zimmerman has had. That's error number 21 this year. He makes the exceptional play, but when he gets the routine play, he has trouble.
This is one where it just looked like he had him just right at the end. He looks like he lost the grip, and it just kind of yanked it and pulled it away from him. You hate to see it because Ryan Zimmerman really is a great guy, hard-working, but after he had that shoulder injury, he's had a lot of problems throwing, and that's why a lot of people thinking if something happens where LaRoche ends up leaving, they're going to move him over to first base.
Well, one thing it does, it gets Jose Fernandez up here, who is 2 for 2, and he pops out. First play out of play. At third base this year, just to give you a comparison, the Nationals have committed 26 errors, 21 by Zimmerman. The Marlins at third base this year have made 9. 0-1 fastball.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate because it's one of those things where it was an injury that happened, and it's not because of lack of work. He puts in all the work out there on the ground balls. He had an injury and had to really reteach himself how to throw. And sometimes, you know, that error is going to pop up because the mechanics are so different now.
Popped high in the air. This one will be handled by Zimmerman. He won't have to throw it, and that's the third out of the inning. We'll go to the sixth. 5-0.
Going your way, smelling good, looking fresh, I'm living it, the whistle for ladies, still up my way. Something so phenomenal, soon as I walk through the doorway. Yes, I got it up, I'm really ready, second time, I'm really rocking through this all day. Everything is moving, flowing, singing, I got it. Feeling like on top of the world, shouting, sing, I got it. If you feel it, know you got it.
We're back as the Marlins hosting the Nationals in this 3-game series. I'm Tommy Hutton along with Preston Wilson, Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine. Always on board and on target tonight is Jose Fernandez. 7 strikeouts. The only base runner for the Nationals was a walk back in the 5th inning.
He's been very efficient. He's been using his fastball early in the count to get to that nasty breaking ball. And he's been able to put guys away with all 3 pitches, fastball, curveball, and changeup. Lombardozzi steps out there. Lombardozzi's in the middle of a really big thing. After the Hurricane Sandy hit, he was with an effort to deliver goods and food, more than 27,000 pounds of food donations to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey.
Yeah, like I said, he grew up in a baseball family, so he knows what it's all about. Good utility player, playing second base tonight. Lombardozzi struck out back in the 3rd inning in his only other at bat.
You know, and those are things that fans need to hear about, because there's enough negative things going on that, you know, sometimes guys don't get the publicity for doing the good things, you know, because that doesn't make the news.
Hard smash scooped up by Solano. Not an easy play, but he made it look pretty easy. 1 down.
You know, Tommy, when you're ranging to your glove hand side and you got the lip of the grass coming in play, that ball can really hit that lip and really take an awkward hop. He played it like he was just routinely in the middle of the infield, picked it cleanly, set his feet, nice clean throw, got a good speedy runner in Lombardozzi at first base.
I think if you talk to most of the infielders, both teams that come into Miami and certainly the Marlins, they'll tell you this is one of the nicer groomed infields.
Well, it plays true, but it's fast. Like the grass is really fast, but then again, the hops are true. So I think a lot of infielders would take that trade-off.
24-year-old out of Wyoming, Zach Walters, who hit 29 home runs for Syracuse this year. That was second most in the International League.
But that's a lot of home runs in the International League. There's some big ballparks in the International League, and some of those ballparks, the ball doesn't carry that well in. The ballpark in Norfolk, the ball doesn't carry that well in. There's some big ballparks there. So when you hit almost 30 home runs in that league, you've done some hitting.
And I was told, too, that the new ballpark in Syracuse is a fair ballpark. It's not pitcher's park. It's not a hitter's park.
Yeah, Buffalo, like there's some ballparks in that league up there where it's pretty big ballparks.
Plus, the ball doesn't go real far in April either.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's cold, heavy air, and it's cold. Yeah.
Couple of breaking balls. Jose's kind of left out in that area. Remember the one he threw on a 3-2 pitch to LaRoche and walked him.
Every now and then, if there's anything you could say that he's done wrong today, it's just every now and then he gets a little bit of a rush when he's throwing his breaking ball and gets out in front of his arm. Oh, that could be trouble right there. That's a shame.
No, don't do it that way. A squibber that went about 80 feet off the end of the bat is the first hit in the game for the Nationals.
That's a shame. This shows you how hard it is to accomplish it. Where something like that can happen. The ball isn't hit well, but it's hit right where the defense can't get to it.
And how about for Zach Walters? He can say his first major league hit broke up the no-hitter that Jose Fernandez had going. Like when he's like 60 years old, he'll be talking about that line drive somewhere.
I'm laughing, Tommy, because my first big league hit didn't even go that far.
Well, mine was an infield job too, so.
Oh, man.
Now the first hit of the game, Corey Brown comes up. He's 0 for 2. He struck out and hit a fly ball to center. In a way, you wonder. Oh, look at this. 3, 6-3. And the Marlins turn 2. The Nationals sent 3 hitters up there. Jose, nobody had going, too.
Yeah, you know by his reaction that he wanted that. Lomo makes a good play. Echeverria does a good job putting this ball on the bag because Lomo has to turn his back. Double play.
It was the same date in 2006 that Anibal Sanchez threw a no-hitter.
I mean, just a great effort tonight. And that just shows you how this game is. I've seen no-hitters occur where guys make diving plays, robbing home runs to keep a no-hitter intact. And in this one, a no-hitter is ruined by a squibber up the third base line. And he knows it, too. He made a great pitch, just one of those things. That's the nature of baseball.
You and I were talking between innings that, in a way, it helps the decision for Mike Redmond as the game continues. If all of a sudden you have Jose in the 8th inning with the no-hitter and he's thrown 110 pitches, boy, it's not an easy decision.
Well, I think one of the overlooked things is the pressure that the manager feels when there is a no-hitter intact, especially when you have a pitcher that you're talking about limiting their innings or pitches, or a pitcher who may have had recent injury trouble like Johan Santana in New York. He had that no-hit bid, got the no-hitter, but really has not been the same since then.
Threw over 130 pitches.
You know, he got extended more pitches than he really wanted him to throw, but he got the no-hitter. And, you know, it really could have cut his career short by staying in the game that long.
Well, which amazingly enough was the first no-hitter in Mets history. So Jose will think about it. New pitcher.
Even though Carlos Beltran will beg to differ whether that was a no-hitter or not.
Xavier Cedeno comes on to work his third game. So Davey Johnson kind of giving a lot of his call-ups opportunities to come in and work an inning, and it's been a nice night for Chris Coghlan. Well, Chris Coghlan's had a nice night, and he is our Cholula hot sauce spotlight player. Born in Maryland, University of Mississippi. Rookie of the year. Boy, was he incredible in August and September. Those 2 months. And he had an opportunity to play some games at third base in the minor leagues, 51. And he worked today. We saw him in Chicago. He had a couple of really tough plays that he made. He made one error. And it's a work in progress. Working with Perry Hill certainly will help his development at third base.
If there's a man you want helping you, it's Perry Hill.
And banged up the middle. And this is something the Marlins love to see from Chris Coghlan. His third base hit tonight.
You know, one of the things I'm seeing out of Coghlan tonight is a little bit better balance. He was swinging the bat early in the season, and I would see him kind of spin and his footing not be really good through the swing, and he would not have good balance. Tonight, he seems to be staying behind his swing. The balance is good, and he's getting the bat through the zone, and the bat staying in the zone a long time, as opposed to when you're off balance, you're kind of spinning out of there, and the bat only stays in the zone a short time.
So Cogs on base for the third time with a 3-for-4 night so far. Donovan Solano has had an interesting night. He's hitless, but he walked and scored a run. And he had a very productive out in the 4th inning with a deep fly ball that advanced 2 runners.
Well, I think that's the key. Even when you don't get hits, your at-bats have to be productive. If you're faced with an opportunity to either move a runner over or get a run in somehow, you know, it shows that stats aren't everything when it comes to batting average. You can help your team in other ways. And he did a great job by getting a deep fly ball to right field and move both base runners up. Men on first and second, both base runners were able to advance.
He's a guy, and I don't know if it would be a situation here, not on an 0-1 pitch, but he's a guy that Mike Redmond isn't afraid to put a hit and run on with. Down the right field line, and just drops in front of Jason Worth, and Chris Coghlan summed that up very well. He didn't hesitate. He knew that Worth wasn't going to get there. Solano has a base hit, and Coghlan's at third base.
Well, the one thing Coghlan is very aware of outfielders, and he's an outfielder, so he does pay good attention, knowing that a right-handed throwing outfielder really has to work to get his body turned around to make that throw to third base. So right when he knew that ball was falling, he see him check, see what outfielder's playing. Right there, he's gone. He knows right there he's going to make it to third base, because to get oriented to throw that ball to third base, it's too much work. Worth has to throw that ball either at the cutoff at second or try to backdoor the runner at first, which is what he did.
That's really a good job by Coghlan. You can see how until you get beyond second, in that instance, you really have that play on your own. You can't rely on the third base coach there. So nobody out, runners at first and third for Christian Yelich. Yelich has a base hit, flied to left and walked.
You know, one of the biggest ways you can help yourself as a player is to be viable on the bases. And that way, you're always aware of the situation. You know where the outfielders are playing before the play is made. So that way, you're always ready to advance on that possible next base.
Two-hopper to second. There's one. They're not going to get two. Christian Yelich, I think, fools people with his speed. Easy speed.
He's got a really long stride. Maybe not quite the same, but a little bit reminiscent of Devon White, that really long loping stride, and he eats up a lot of ground. So you don't realize that he's moving as fast as he is.
Well, he picks up the RBI. There's the two-hopper, puts his head down.
And see, once those strides get going, those are really long strides. He's eating up ground, and he's covering more ground than you think he is. And that's a big key right there. He bought himself an RBI by getting down there. If he rounds into the double play, he gets an RBI.
And that's why he can handle center field, too.
I believe so. I think it's a good move for him to be playing center field because he can handle it.
Pitching change for the Nationals. Our Metro PCS called to the bullpen. And here comes the right-hander, Ryan Matthews. To you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Freeze it. Good pick, a good stretch. And remember, at that time, the Nationals had not had a base hit. So Echeverria with another dazzling play. And the Nationals with another pitching change. Ryan Matthews. Matthews missed a good portion of this year, 58 games earlier this year, with a fractured right hand. So a guy who's been kind of a mainstay in their bullpen the last couple of years comes on to work to Stanton.
Well, he's one of those high-effort, high-velocity guys out of the bullpen. Comes at you, got a lot of movement, 94, 95 miles an hour. Can even get it up a little bit above that at times.
So Giancarlo's taking a couple of fastballs, and he's behind in the count 0-2. Stanton had a big single in the first inning that drove in 2 runs. Walked and scored in the third. Struck out in the fourth. And on 3 pitches, Ryan Matthews puts him away. 2 fastballs and a breaking ball.
Yeah, that's good morning, good afternoon, good night right there. That's 3 quick ones.
When you see Giancarlo Preston in an at-bat like that, taking 2 fastballs and then chasing a bad breaking ball, does that tell you he was looking breaking ball the first couple of pitches?
Well, I think sometimes he's just not ready to hit every pitch. And I think when you're the only big right-handed bat in the lineup, sometimes you can kind of get in that guessing game of, are they going to pitch to me? Are they going to pitch around me? Are they going to stop me off with a breaking ball? I learned something very important from playing with Todd Helton. And he's a guy who had a great eye. He walked a lot, but he was ready to hit the moment he stepped in the box. He was never looking to take. And I think that's something that Giancarlo Stanton needs to do.
Hard chopper with some good top spin. Logan Morrison has his second hit of the night, and that chases Yelich over to third.
By the way, Logan Morrison's home run in the 3rd inning. And this one, a lot of times I question some of the estimated distances. Estimated at 484 feet.
Now, I'm on board with that one.
Yeah,
I think that was every bit of that.
I'm with that one, too. It's a good point what you said, by the way, about Todd Helton. Rich and I had a conversation early in the year with Joey Votto, and he made the same declaration, so to speak. You have to always be ready for that first pitch because it might be the best pitch you're going to see.
You know, and it took me a while to learn it. And really, the more aggressive you are mentally about ready to hit, the more you're going to take those bad pitches because you're not in between. Your mind is so set on ready and picking out a good pitch that you're set to go. As soon as you don't see a good pitch or as soon as a bad pitch pops up there, you let it go.
Polanco tonight, sac fly. Did that in the 1st inning, had a base hit in the 3rd. Flied out to right in the 5th. So Polanco with a 1-for-2 night going. He's had a nice career against the Nationals. Placido Polanco with an almost 450 career at bats against Washington, a 300 hitter. Not this time. There's the out at second base. The Marlins do pick up a run here in the 6th. 6-0's the score. We go to the 7th. Well, Marlins fans, the latest and greatest in television technology is coming your way here in South Florida during the series against the Braves. Tune in to Fox Sports Florida all series long and see the brand new Phantom Cam. We had a chance to see it in Atlanta. Some great shots. You'll see some home run swings, some bats bend, some great plays. So be sure to tune in for Marlins baseball right here on Fox Sports Florida. And during that series against the Braves, you'll see Phantom Cam.
I'm actually glad they didn't have that when I played because I don't want to see my face in super slow motion like that with something. Yeah, they can have that.
All right, now we've talked about a lot of tremendous numbers for Jose Fernandez. His 6 shutout innings tonight. He's lowered his ERA to 2.24. He has 7 strikeouts. He's given up just the 1 80-foot infield base hit. You go back to 1976, the lowest ERA for a rookie. Mark Fidrich, the Bird, 1976 had an ERA of 2.34. Fernando Valenzuela in 1981 had an ERA of 2.48 as a rookie. And right now, Jose Fernandez is at 2.24.
If there's a bright spot that the Marlins can look forward to, it's their pitching. They have starting pitchers that other teams in the Major League are envious of. Good turn by Giancarlo Stanton right there. He realized the ball was hooking over his shoulder. You turn, look over the other shoulder. Good turn. That's being under control and being relaxed. There's no panic right there. We didn't see that last year. He didn't have as many games. Look at that. When you can take your eye off the ball and turn your back and pick it up and not panic, that shows you're relaxed out there now, Phil. That's a good job.
You know, the other thing I liked about that, Preston, it's coming off a poor at bat. He had to strike out, and he has to change his concentration, all of a sudden play defense, and he made a nice play.
And to be fair, that is something that he's going to have to be aware of, because there are times where he has a poor at bat, and he's not as sharp out there in the outfield. But that's a great job there. His last 2 at-bats haven't been what he wants them to be, but he goes out there, ball is slicing, goes over the opposite shoulder, makes a good turn, makes a good play.
Bryce Harper's 0 for 2. Of course, I've said that about most of their hitters. There's that changeup.
And I think Davey Johnson is going to remind Bryce Harper after this game, you asked for this. You weren't supposed to be in the lineup today. And you came in my office and talked me into this. Now you're in the lineup. You asked for this.
He had a little bit of a hip problem. He's just 3 for his last 18, but we also chronicled how well he's hit against the Marlins this year.
Well, I think on most other nights, you know, playing against the Marlins, his hip would be feeling a little better. But the night that Jose Fernandez is having, with his command and control, with having all 3 pitches work tonight, I don't care who you are or how well you've done against this team, there's not going to be much luck out there for you.
Yeah, there's just some other really tremendous rookie numbers for Jose Fernandez. He's the first rookie since Cole Hamels in 2006 to have 4 games of 10 strikeouts or more. His last 9 starts, he's given up 2 runs or less.
Now,
5-1 during that time.
That's one of the examples of where he's even in the count 2-2, and he's in a rush to make that pitch, and his body got a little bit farther in front, and you're always going to notice it because it's going to be off to the arm side. That's when he gets out in front and he's rushing.
See what kind of a pitch he makes. 3-2. Like he tried to change up. Second walk issued by Jose. That's the thing that we've seen. You talk about some pitchers, young pitchers, even veteran pitchers will make adjustments between starts. They'll go down the bullpen, get their work. The really good pitchers make adjustments between innings or in innings.
Yes. And that's what separates them. It doesn't take them that long to fix an issue, and other teams aren't able to get those base runners back to back on them because of that.
A couple of fly balls tonight from Jason Worth. Talked about Worth with the number of at-bats now that he needs. Has jumped into that batting race. And coming into play tonight, leading the National League in hitting is Michael Kadire at 331. Chris Johnson of the Braves at 330. Then you have Molina. Then you have Worth. And you have Andrew McCutchen. Is McCutchen your MVP?
I like McCutchen. I got to say he's the MVP. He does everything for that team. Great defense, clutch hitting, good base running, good base stealing.
Got in a little bit on Worth. 1-2. Talked about Jose coming into, there are those leaders in the National League. Talk about Jose coming into this game, leading the major leagues, and he certainly helped his cause tonight, leading the major leagues in opposing batters hitting 186 against him.
That's staying away from that big part of the bat a lot. When you hold on a team under 200, both left-handers and right-handers. I mean, that shows that he's executing against both guys. He's not having problems pitching on one side of the plate as opposed to the other.
He's tried a few different pitches to Worth, but Worth is giving him a battle. We talked about Worth, great on-base percentage. Came into the game, .425 on base percentage.
And that's an 87 miles an hour changeup from a guy who's hit 99 tonight. And Worth almost kept that ball fair. You know, he just has a really good bat path.
For a guy who's a big guy, too, who could get long with his swing. He gets him to chase that big, slow breaking ball. Strikeout number 8 for Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, this is a tough pitch. After you get a changeup inside that kind of gets you sped up, and then he drops the little slider that he takes a little off so it has a little bit bigger bend, and you're just hoping to get a piece of that, but that's nasty. You're not going to do anything with that pitch.
We talked about Jose Fernandez, how he just continues to lower his ERA. 2.24 coming into the inning. At home, his ERA is 1.19.
That's minuscule. That's just downright stingy. That's what that is.
That's Bob Gibson like.
Yeah. You know, I mean, at some point, if you're an opposing hitter, you're like, look, man, you're just being selfish. My family's watching the game, too. They want to see me do well.
Boy, Ian Desmond has struck out twice, and he finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Prior to this game, looking back yesterday, before this game started, on 0-2 pitches, hitters are 4 for 82. That's an 0.49 average.
You know what? I remember one in particular that he gave up. I think he gave up an 0-2 home run on a hanging breaking ball to the Mets, I think. And I remember like he was shaking his head. I think it was the Mets. I remember it was an 0-2 breaking ball, and that he hasn't made that mistake many times this year.
Good fastball, and Desmond fouls it off. Been another solid year for Ian Desmond. Last year, 25 home runs, 21 stolen bases. This year, 20 home runs, 18 stolen bases.
You know, it's been a rough night for Ian Desmond, and his at-bats have been so quick. He's been 0-2 right away. We haven't really been able to get into it.
Yeah.
But he's one of the premier shortstop in the league. When you talk about batting average, power, driving in runs, stealing bases, fielding ability, he's pretty much the closest thing that we've seen to Barry Larkin in quite some time.
That's a good analogy. Barry Larkin. You know, he'd get his 20 home runs, wouldn't hit 35 or 40, but he'd do the little things right. Desmond has gotten to be a better shortstop every year, improved defensively.
You know, and when you see a guy who's that talented offensively, you know, it's unusual to see them keep progressing defensively to get better. But he puts in the work and he's getting better each time he goes out there playing defense, and he's still managing to do the other things, driving in runs, stealing bases, improving his own base percentage and batting average. Really talented player.
See what Jose features 1 and 2. Fastball just missed. Crowd wanted it.
I mean, it didn't miss by much, but it's just off the corner. But that's it. But when a pitching coach says he wants your best 2-strike fastball, that's what they're talking about.
Didn't miss that time. Good time goes Desmond. Strikeout number 9 for the 21-year-old kid. Today, USAA would like to place special recognition to all of our service members at home and abroad. A salute to all of you and a special thanks from all of us.
Park in an outstanding ball game. We want to introduce you to Samantha Wright, U.S. Petty Officer to my right. Her mom is Paula Wright, you can see, but based on what is she wearing, she's an usher here. Been an usher for years, right? At Sun Life and at this ballpark.
Correct.
And you have a lot of reason to be proud. Tell us why.
Very proud.
Why are you so proud?
I'm proud because my daughter is doing an awesome job, and she's made an outstanding career so far.
Yep. Graduate of Cornell. She just finished at the U.S. Navy. She's a petty officer now. Number 1 in your class is GPA in nuclear field, which can't be easy.
No, it's not easy. It's very difficult, actually. You know, everybody's not cut out for it, and a lot of people don't make it. But you know, I'm doing my best.
The Marlins have honored her tonight. You see these seats here. We're in the front row, right next to the fish tank. You can't get a better look at Jose Fernandez. And now you're off to become next a combat pilot for the Navy. Yes.
Absolutely. That is definitely my goal. Is to be a combat pilot for the Navy. If that doesn't work out, I'm hoping to be an EMT pilot for hospitals.
Why the interest in combat pilot?
I have this overwhelming urge to fly. I can't help it. And, you know, combat pilots, they fly so fast. And the precision and everything that comes along with the job, like, I love doing challenging things, and I love being the best at it. So.
Well, good luck to you. You're doing a great job. Number 1 in your class, nuclear field, and congratulations. You will serve us well, and we thank you for your service so far.
Absolutely. You're absolutely welcome.
All right, great story there, Samantha Wright. Good luck on your journey, and keep working hard, okay?
I will.
All right. I hate to leave these seats, guys, so I'll send it back to you. Definitely the most peculiar angle we've ever had, I think, for one of these.
All right, Craig, thanks. That's good stuff. It is an evening complete for Jose Fernandez, who goes 7 innings, gives up 1 hit, a little squibber up the third baseline, walked 2, struck out 9, lowered his earned run average to 2.23. And on the night for Jose Fernandez, 94 pitches. So he's done for the evening. Bullpen is busy. And just mark it down. Remember that Preston and I told you tonight, Jose is going to be pitching again Wednesday night against the Atlanta Braves.
Yes, I think those 6 really sharp innings, very efficient innings, bought him another start. You know, and if you're Mike Redmond, you couldn't script it any better, because you want to get him another start, and he didn't labor tonight. He was efficient, got through 6 innings. Oh, got through 7. Got through 7 innings and really just was in command the whole time. And by the way,
let me ask you something. He wants to hit.
Uh-oh.
He's going, it's my turn. But wait a minute, Juan Pierre's going. Let me ask you something. If I'm sure he goes 7 innings, even if he has a no-hitter going through 7.
Yeah, I think he would have gone.
You got to look at the big picture. I mean, obviously, it'd be great to see.
Yeah.
But he's great to watch. He's fun. He's electric. And he had a great night tonight.
Juan Pierre with a nice rip right up the middle. First pitch, hacking, gets something to swing at, and he doesn't let it pass.
Hey, Juan Pierre with his 7th pinch hit of the year. Greg Dobbs has 9 on the season. And JP has done a nice job in the limited amount of playing time. And you know what? He's handled his situation extremely well, as we all would have expected.
You know, you kind of feel for him because it really cost him some time, especially when it was with the Dodgers. He was hitting over 300, playing every day with the Dodgers. And when they got Manny Ramirez, he just was on the bench, just pretty much rotting on the bench over there. So that really took some time from him, and it wasn't due to anything that he wasn't doing. The Dodgers just got a chance to get Manny Ramirez, and they took that opportunity. But Juan Pierre is a consummate professional, and there hasn't been a situation yet that he hasn't handled with all the class that you would expect that he would.
Second game in Chicago. Juan Pierre got himself a base hit, stole second, stole third. Chris Coughlin's had a nice night. 3 for 4, has hit the ball on the nose every time. His one out was a line drive to deep center. Quickly, Matthews gets ahead, 0-2. Ian Kroll gets ready. Had him reaching, little tapper. Matthews makes a play. That's all for Chris Coughlin. That is all for the Marlins in the 7th. We go to the 8th inning. It's a 6-0 Marlins lead. For Jose Fernandez in just 7 spectacular innings. Jose had 9 strikeouts, gave up just 1 hit. A pinch hit single that squibbed up the third baseline about 80 feet. He lowers his home ERA now to 1.19 and hopes to pick up his 8th win at home to go 8-0 and overall his 11th win.
And like we said at the top of the show, you can't say enough superlatives to describe this kid or what he means to this ball club. And just a great effort tonight. Had everything working and was just pretty much in command the whole time out there. Anytime you see a team that's been playing well and is on the upswing going into their stretch run and a pitcher just pretty much shuts down their whole lineup, not just a few guys in the lineup, but everybody in the lineup was having bad swings. They were behind in the count all night. That's dominance.
Well, the one name that Jose Fernandez will always remember is Zach Walters, the youngster, major league debut, pinch hitting. He fooled him on a good breaking ball. He hit it off the end of the bat. It rolled up the third base line for an infield base hit, the only hit he allowed. So now the Nationals get a look at Chad Qualls. Usually no mystery with Qualls. He comes at hitters, hard two-seamers, good slider.
And he throws a heavy ball. You know, he throws one of those balls that when it hits your bat, it feels like an anvil. Like the ball just has that type of rotation where it just, when it hits your bat, it feels really heavy on your bat. Still throws hard. Got good sink. And at times can show a good slider.
And generally he's around the strike zone too. This ball off Qualls, and LaRoche will have an infield base hit.
Yes, that was literally a base hit off Chad Qualls.
Let's hope he's okay.
I don't think the big fella let that one affect him too much. I think he's more angry than anything that ball hit him.
Yeah, and then sometimes you see a ball hit that way and it caroms right to an infielder, and an ouch recorded. So Marlins head athletic trainer Sean Cunningham comes out for a visit. Mike Redmond on his way.
A nice little one hopper. Looked like it may have gotten either the back of the thigh or calf area bounced off him. I mean, we've all seen pitchers get hit, and nobody likes to see the scary line drives that we've seen recently in a couple of years. But I will say this: when I was a kid, watching my dad play in Shea Stadium, there was a pitcher named Roy Lee Jackson. A batter hit a line drive off Roy Lee Jackson. It hit him in the head, and it flew out into right field for a base hit.
Wow.
I've never seen that since then where a ball goes that, and he stayed in the game. This was way before they were checking for concussions. He stayed in the game.
This is way before they had the 7-day concussion disabled list.
Yes.
Now the batter's Wilson Ramos with LaRoche at first base. So it's the first time in this game the Nationals have had their leadoff man on base.
Well, if you're going to get a ground ball double play, this is your candidate right here.
Little chopper. Balls gets 1 and 2. That did not have double play written on it. Chad Qualls with a nice play and a good decision to start the double play with Ramos, the catcher, who doesn't run well, was the hitter.
That play is predicated on him knowing who the base runner is. Most base runners, this is an easy decision. You just get one and go. He knows he can still turn this, sets his feet, gives a nice, good quality feed to Solano there at second base. Solano turns it over, gets it there at first base for a double play.
And that was at, what'd you call it, anvil? Like an anvil sinker. It came in
so
on
heavy,
Ramos.
Man. Yeah.
And just like that, Qualls gets out of the inning. Lombardozzi grounding out. That's all for the Nationals. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Good night for the Fish. It's 6-0. We'll take a look at the first inning. The Marlins got things started. Chris Coughlin's double. Christian Yelich right back up the middle for a base hit. Good at bat by Giancarlo. Single with 2 RBIs. Placido Polanco, a sac fly. So the Marlins, just like that, had 3 runs in the first inning. Get a load of this one. 484 feet, second deck. Home run porch for Logan Morrison. And then just give it to Jose Fernandez. 7 innings. Gave up just 1 base hit. That one by Zach Walters, his first major league hit. The Marlins then were able to turn a double play. Jose lowered his ERA to 2.24 and at home to 1.19. You know how, Preston, you get that first major league hit, you have it, engraved, the date and all that. Zach Walters ought to have Jose sign it.
You know what? And I think he would. He would sign it.
He would. So Ian Kroll's a left-hander in now for the Nats. And again, you brought it out, Preston. We talked about how this is a good club, the way they've been playing. They've won 11 of their last 15. Over the last month or so, their average has been better. Their runners in scoring position average has been better.
And they're coming off a series where they sweep the Marlins just a couple of series ago. They swept the Marlins, a 3-game set in Washington.
But right now, in the 7th inning, Cincinnati is leading the Dodgers 3-2. And that would hurt the Nationals because they came into this game 7 games behind the Reds. That would drop them another behind.
Yeah, there's a couple teams they can't afford to fall behind. St. Louis, Cincinnati, and Arizona are the 3 teams that they're chasing right now. So whenever those teams win, they need to win as well.
And it really looks like in the playoff picture that those wild card teams are going to come out of the National League Central.
It does. I mean, they're playing. The National League Central is playing some good baseball right now.
Donovan Solano had a base hit last time up. He's had a nice night. Done some things defensively, made some nice plays, had some key at bats, a productive AB in the 4th. Marlins have 12 base hits tonight.
On his last at bat, he dumped the ball down the right field line there for a base hit. You know, I think early in the year there may have been some question of who the Marlins' second baseman would be.
This ball hit well to center field, chasing back Corey Brown, but he's there for the grab. There's one down. Take a look at our FPL scores from around the league. Cubs got a grand slam from Junior Lake today. Talked about the Cincinnati score. Cincinnati leading the Dodgers. Phillies beat Atlanta. And a big series with the Cardinals taking on the Pirates. Early lead for St. Louis.
Yeah, there's a lot of question of whether Pittsburgh is going to be able to just hold it down over there.
Yelich rolls over on that. 2 quick outs for Kroll. Let's take a look and see what our Coors Cold Hard fact is. Season series, the Marlins have played the Nationals a lot better here. 3-3. Washington overall leads the series 9-3. But certainly 2 teams familiar with each other. This series here, the Marlins go back to Nationals Park for one more series.
You know, right now, as for the Marlins, your mentality has to be pretty much be the spoiler. You know, you're playing now where your offense is finally starting to come around. You can cause some teams who are trying to make it in the postseason some problems right now.
You've been at both ends, winning teams, losing teams, and when you're on that losing team, that's kind of a way to survive the last few weeks of the season.
You find a reason to go out there and compete and to try to make something happen. And, you know, that's a way where you can go out and you find a way to drive yourself, to drive your team. Say, hey, look, guys, things didn't go our way this year, but we can go out there, we can make it hard on them. Let's go out there and make it tough on them, make them earn it.
Well, we talked about this 3-game series. Remember, tomorrow is not on television. Nathan Eovaldi and Tanner Roark. And then Sunday, we'll be back with you. Jacob Turner against Steven Strasburg. There's a drive by Giancarlo. Just watch it leave.
You know, Tommy, you see Giancarlo tonight. He chased a few pitches off the plate inside. And I know him. Sometimes he worries about it, but this pitch did not quite get in there. It's on the corner, and he absolutely gets the head on it and launches it.
Number 19 on the year for Stanton. And number 14 at home.
You know, I had a talk with him one day, and it was really more along the lines of keep doing what you're doing, but realize that when you get frustrated or when you get upset, understand why it's happening. And he would get into a mode where he would back so far off the plate because he'd gotten jammed a few times where now he can't reach anything away, or anything that's breaking or moving away, he couldn't handle it. So I think he needs to stay right there and just realize that it's more of pitch selection than whether or not he can get to the inside pitch. He can get to the ball in. And look, I mean, see, that's fun right there.
Look who's leading the celebration.
That's fun right there. That's what this game is all about. That's enjoying the game.
You know, Jose disappeared for about 5 minutes just to change shirts. He does that. He does
come
nice.
Right back out.
He does nice. Then he comes right back out and becomes a #1 cheerleader. Talking to Marcell Ozuna right there.
You know, and getting back to Giancarlo Stanton, I just hope he doesn't start drifting back off the plate and just realize that if he gets beat in, most of the time it's because it's a ball and not because he doesn't have the bat speed to get to it.
Well, he crushed that ball. He's one of the few guys in this game that when he hits one, immediately you know that it's out.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys in the game that doesn't have to get all of it and can still hit it out of the ballpark.
Momo's had nice swings tonight. He has struck out a couple of times, but booming home run and then a base hit in the 6th inning, so he's 2 for 4.
You know, I think all the signs that the Marlins are looking for things to get better, they're seeing tonight. They see Lomo hit for power. They said Giancarlo have some good at-bats. That ball just ate him up right there.
Little jam shot.
Yeah.
And that does it for the Marlins. But we'll go to the 9th inning with the Marlins holding on to a 7-0 lead. It's a beautiful thing. Marlins 7 runs on 13 base hits tonight. The Nationals no runs, just 2 hits. Giancarlo with a booming home run, his 19th of the year. Logan Morrison, 484-foot shot, his 6th of the year. Brad Hand comes on to work. Marlins fans have seen Brad Hand a little bit over the last couple of years. 15 starts in New Orleans this year, a 3-5 record. He had a brief stint earlier in the year. And the times we've seen him pressing, he needs to have command. He gets out of that sometimes. If he uses his fastball, he can set up a pretty good changeup.
Well, I think you hit it on the nose. For him, he can't afford to pitch behind in the count. He has to make sure that he's getting good quality strikes early in the count against hitters to stay ahead to get him to use the secondary pitches. He doesn't have quite the fastball that some of the other Marlins pitchers have, so he has to get ahead, be more efficient, and really stay in the strike zone.
Well, he's going to face Scott Hairston coming off the bench as a pinch hitter.
Tell you what, Hairston is a guy that you do not want to mess around with, especially middle in. He can turn on anybody's fastball. He has a nice short swing, keeps his hands close. and has surprising pop for a guy that you don't think of as a big guy. Even though he's 6 foot, 200 pounds pretty much, 190, he got some good pop.
Well, last year with the Mets, Harrison hit 20 home runs.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that his power is kind of surprising.
And he gets a little out front. High pop fly. Polanco will handle it. And there is one down. And going with a right-handed bat, Tyler Moore is going to pinch hit. Here's our Twitter poll question. Will Jose Fernandez win the National League Rookie of the Year?
Wow.
That is incorrect. It has to be, see, that flip-flop, it's the other way around.
Yeah, that's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
It's the other way around, Jose. Don't worry about it. And I think once again he just helped his cause nationally to writers, viewers, anybody that checks in on this game, as he put up tremendous numbers in his 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, 1 hit. That's been corrected.
Well,
see how quickly we can do that?
Yeah.
So, Twitter poll is correct.
Now he's going to go talk to a few more of the teammates.
182 strikeouts on the year now. Good job by Brad Hand. 2 quick outs. Puts away Tyler Moore. And that'll bring up Ryan Zimmerman.
You know, I think more so than the location of the pitch, the speed differential really got the batter off balance right there, and he's able to get that in there for strike 3. See, he's making his way through the whole team.
It is. It's amazing. and now with the September call-ups, he even has more guys to talk to. Guys he hasn't had a chance to talk to all year.
Yeah,
he's got Jacob Turner.
He's like, I've had things I've been wanting to say to you all year.
This has been a great relationship, by the way, because Jacob Turner is pretty reserved, pretty quiet, and they've become pretty good friends. And I think Jose has brought a little bit of Jacob out.
You know, there's something to be said for that, because sometimes there are guys that are so reserved that they can almost get lost on the team. You don't know they're there. And you need a guy like a Jose Fernandez to kind of bring them out of their shell a little bit, to let them know it's okay to enjoy yourself, to enjoy the game, and still be considered professional. You know, you can relax a little bit, let your hair down. If I had some still.
Count is 3-1 to Zimmerman. Brad Hand has come on, gotten a couple of quick outs.
Yeah, Zimmerman is still a dangerous man when he's ahead in the count 3-1 though.
Line into left. There's a play for Chris Coghlan. 1, 2, 3 go the Nationals. Hugs all around for Jose Fernandez. Let's look at the move. I like this move. Final score 7-0. Brilliant performance tonight from the 21-year-old Jose Fernandez. 13 hits. The offense was there. An early lead certainly helped. And we'll be back with a lot more. 7-0, the final from Marlins Park.